Hello and welcome to the award-winning The Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us by the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today. Now, this is an interesting topic. Abolish PEP. That's the question. Abolish PEP. Why are we still searching for the right method of assessment for entrance to secondary school level? And in second watch, the future, fate, or necessity of a JSPCA, the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. For our social media question, we ask, as a parent or educator, what would be the best method of assessment of children moving on to the secondary school level? Share your responses on our Love One FM Facebook and YouTube page. Well, YouTube channel, also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your response later on in the program, but first, as I quote, Chukal.
All right, good morning, good morning. So today's I quote says, if you meet with a system of theology,
Theology, yes.
yeah, that magnifies man, flee from it as fast as you can. This one is from Charles Spurgeon.
Totally agree. We must worship God alone.
Him alone. That's
Him,
right.
God alone.
Mhm.
Good morning again, Chukal. The
Good
first
morning.
watch will be back after this break.
The Morning Watch is sponsored by Bashco Trading Limited, the store that gives you more.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Bashco. Be everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco that gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, and linen, everything for your kitchen, rugs, mugs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
If you want to change foreign currency into Jamaican dollars, CVM first. Their rates are real strong. You get more Jamaican dollars for your foreign exchange at VM Building Society and VM Money Express. They give you better value, and you can also buy currency online. Fast, safe, and easy. Get more for your money. VM Building Society and VM Money Express. Transform your everyday.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Bashco. Be everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and a Bashco. Get it on a store that gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, and linen, everything for your kitchen, rugs, mugs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. At one point in time, several decades ago, it was the special scholarship route that enabled a couple of persons to get into high school from the primary level. And we're speaking about situations where persons would not have been able to afford what was then rather relatively expensive secondary high school education. Many people don't remember or know just how difficult it was in the past to get a particular quality of high school education. Then came 1957. Well, so the records indicate. 1957 came the Common Entrance, which opened up a world of opportunity for many students who were coming from the primary school level, who wanted to enter the high schools. And then you had GSAT and now PEP. Senior academic Professor Canute Thompson wants PEP to be abolished. Well, what would it be replaced with if we abolish PEP? Our guests are Lasagna Harrison, Principal St. Faith's Primary in St. Catherine, and Professor Canute Thompson himself, Pro Vice Chancellor for Undergraduate Studies, University of West Indies, Mona, Professor of Educational Policy, Planning, and Leadership, University of West Indies, Mona. Good morning, Professor Thompson. Good morning, Lasagna Harrison.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us.
Good
Lasagna Harrison.
morning. Good morning,
Good morning
Mr.
to you
Stokeley.
both.
Good morning, Professor Thompson.
Good
Well, let's
morning,
start,
Mrs.
let's
Harrison.
start with you, Professor. Not that I'm putting the gentlemen before the ladies here, but since the genesis of this idea, or certainly a noted voice, is that of yours, Professor Thompson, who is positing or putting forward the idea. Well, what is PEP, sir, and the original intent, and why do you think it is something that should be abolished? Is this if you're abolishing slavery? Professor Thompson, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes. So let me say firstly that PEP as an exit exam from the primary level is a high stakes exam, just like the common entrance, just like GSAT. So they fall in the same category. And so even if we had not reached PEP and we're still at GSAT, I would still be making the case.
Okay.
The current curriculum, the national standards curriculum, under which PEP is used as the assessment to determine where we place students, it's a solid curriculum. I believe that curriculum is excellent, but the testing that is done under it is where the flaw is. So my argument is that rather than putting students and parents and teachers to some extent through that strenuous exercise, and incidentally, PEP starts at grade 4. Mrs. Harrison would be better able to explain the structure. Starts at grade 4 through to grade 5, and then the final exam in grade 6. And it's a series of tests. My argument is rather than using this battery of tests and this stressful experience at grade 6, is to undertake continuous assessment, starting from the GYLP at grade 1, looking at the child's inventory, interests, and skills, providing him or her with that experience through the journey. And then at the end of grade 6, you do an overall assessment of the child's interest, performance, experience, and make a determination based on the overall cumulative assessment rather than this heavy, intensive, high stakes test at the end of grade 6. But the other challenge with it is that many students pass, quote unquote pass. They are able to go to one of their 7 choices, and the fact of 7 choices is itself a questionable structure. Why 7? Previously it was 2 or 3. But many students who quote unquote are a pass here at the grade and are now at the grade 7 level, going into the first form in high school. Many of them are reading at grade 3 and grade 4 level, but they have passed this test. So if the test is supposed to measure competence and other skills, how is it that they pass but are well below the standards required? So those are some of the reasons I believe that the test is invalid, and we should find a new way of assessing our students.
Is invalid.
Yes.
Invalid.
In some respects, yes. Meaning to say that there are hundreds of students who have been assessed by this test, have been deemed to have met the threshold, and are assigned to a high school, but they are reading at levels well below the required standard. I was looking at a report of some principals meeting with the Minister of Education. They met with the Minister of Education sometime earlier this year. And the minister indicated that some changes are coming to the test. And I think one of the changes that is coming is that they're removing the national grade 5 test, and schools will be doing that grade 5 test at the local level. But I believe we need to go much further. But here's what the principal said. The principals are all complained that many of them receive students, tens of students, who are not ready for high school, but they have passed PEP. So if the test is supposed to test readiness, how is it that these students have been assigned but have not met the threshold? And I'm saying in that regard, that's what I'm saying, it's invalid.
Lasagna Harrison, you're the principal of a primary school. Do you have any comments to make? Because, well, first of all, in terms of should PEP be abolished? It's a very strong word.
Ah, I hear Professor Thompson loud and clear on that call as it relates to the abolishing of PEP. I believe there's just so many other fundamental pillars before we can we get there as a nation, because we're where we're at in terms of having a high stakes, I'll use his words, high stakes assessment, because education is still, while we by our constitution guarantee access to primary education to all Jamaicans, we're yet by our constitution to provide that for all our secondary students and for those who would transition into tertiary. So we have a foundational problem. Coupled with that is, as a nation, we have not yet decided that what we expend on education is still inadequate. So we will continue, I believe, to have the fittest of the fittest, fighting for the spaces in the 35 of the 171 high schools we have that are classed as traditional high schools. So even though the children may be placed in one of their 7 choices, and I saw where it is that he is questioning same, to what is that out of expedience? Is that out of, just to, to allay certain fears that the children got placed at one of their choices, but until we provide the resources to resource education where all 171 high schools are attractive and will provide quality education to all our children, and before we get there, the national standards curriculum that he spoke about, I believe also, I share that it is a good curriculum. However, it was never resourced. It was implemented, and as someone who was trained as a trainer, if they are honest, from we were being trained, and I remember the very place where the training was taking place, and I raised my hand several times because then I was a classroom teacher at the high school level, who was always interested to know what is taking place at the primary level, because I get them in grade 7 and prepare them for tertiary. So I was always interested, and I asked, where are the resources to ensure that the teachers carry out what is expected, what is being asked of the
Lasagna
teacher
Harrison.
through this
Lasagna
curriculum, and
Harrison.
we're yet to receive that resourcing. So we have some fundamental issues, I
Lasagna
believe, that
Harrison, only because of time, if you could just hold that thought for a second, do not lose your train of thought. We're going to come back to you shortly. And of course, Professor Thompson, we will welcome additional comments from you, sir. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Nothing beats the Love 101 September Bonanza. That's 15% off any advertising package. That's more savings, more spots, and more reach for your business. But don't wait. This offer ends September 30. Call us now at 876-968-9596-7 or email sales&marketing@love101.org. Let's grow together. Conditions apply.
Are you ready to step into increase? Join us for the 4th annual Accelerate Pastors and Leaders Conference hosted by Transformed Life Church, a power-packed 3-day conference designed to inspire, equip, and empower you as pastors and church leaders. Thursday, October 9, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Friday, October 10, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, October 11, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Plus, we have a bonus event Friday at 6:30 p.m. for you and all your leaders. Come and connect with visionary speakers and engage in dynamic sessions to help increase your input in your church communities like never before. For more information and to register, visit the website at accelerate.leader.net or call 876-371-0983. See you there.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch, and the topic is abolish PEP. Abolish PEP. Abolish PEP. Why are we still searching for the right method of assessment for entrance to secondary school level, rather? Our guests are Lasagna Harrison, Principal St. Faith's Primary St. Catherine, Professor Knut Thompson, Pro-Vice Chancellor for Undergraduate Studies, UWI Mona, Professor for Educational Policy Planning and Leadership at UWI Mona. Lasagna Harrison, just before the break, you're making a couple of points. Would you like to finish your thought?
I'll put forward two other considerations as we consider this recommendation by Professor Thompson. The PEP that we have that is currently in train, for those who were following the transition, because we heard the announcement of the GSAT coming to an end and that PEP would replace it. Now the current format of PEP is not what was originally positioned to the Jamaican people, because if persons remember, it was to have been designed in such a way similar to how students undertake CXC now. There is a SBA component. So the SBA component that is done at the high school level, where the teacher works with the students on an ongoing project over 2 years, and that document is the teacher scaffolds the child and the child works on it independently, and it forms a part of the grade going into the final assessment. That aspect of the PEP was never implemented in a sustained way. And also, I would also like our listeners to contend to keep in mind that only last year, not 2025, not this current set of students, 2025, 2024 students were the first grouping of students to complete all 3 levels of the primary exit profile, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. And I'm not quite sure. I'm told I'm supposed to be on a committee that does this monitoring that was agitated by the JTA, that was advocated for to be established by the JTA. But I'm not quite sure if the government of Jamaica, through the ministry, has yet undertaken a comprehensive evaluation of the primary exit profile and to look at the various components. So yes, we hear the complaints of the parents, we're hearing the complaints of the teachers and all the different parts, but have we looked in a fulsome and wholesome way? Is there any part of this that is beneficial? Is there anything of it that can work, and what needs tweaking? How it is that we say we are encouraging the teachers to teach, use differentiation. That means you shouldn't teach all the children the same way, yet we assess all the children the same way, pen and pencil. Yes, and so we have a lot to think about as we seek, in my own words, to create what we need, a purpose-driven education system, where it is much like the proposal made by Professor Thompson, where it is that we seek to unearth and nurture the purpose of the children and help to diverse them. When you go to places like Singapore and other places that we like to reference, the children are monitored in a particular way, and then they are encouraged to go to on to even they have specialized high schools in some places. So those children who will go on to arts and visual arts and performing arts, natured high school, those who will go on to a multi prong where it is that they balance the sciences and the business, all of these things. So we need to look at what will be best for us. We invest a lot in heart. We say heart works, but their model of testing, that of competency based, we have not yet sought to how we would infuse that into the structure of how we assess our children from early childhood all the way up. Those are my few thoughts.
Very well. Thank you for your few thoughts, Lasonia Harrison. Thank you for your few thoughts. Now, Professor Thompson, you have heard Lasonia
Yes.
Harrison, but should we? Okay, so if we remove PEP and replace it with another model, how does that address some of the other fundamentals? Because
Great.
not maybe not this discussion so far, but we have had other discussions in the past here on the program. And
Yeah.
some of those other discussions seem to point to other relevant factors, such as the kind of nurturing, enabling environment that the children are coming from. So
Sure.
it's one thing to teach a particular way in class, and you can tick your boxes and say you've done the correct thing.
Yeah.
But the child
Mrs.
goes
Harrison,
back to an environment where they let me just finish your thought before you comment. The children then go back into an environment where they are not being encouraged socially or otherwise to excel. And so what you're doing at school is all well and good, but it's not registering in the hearts of the children or even their parents. Some parents. Professor Thompson?
yes.
Sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I would begin by saying that Mrs. Harrison has made a number of important points.
We
For,
have lost you
I
now. I
would
think
like
we're
to just
losing
comment
you.
on two of them.
We're
The first
losing you. We're
is that
losing
the
you
fact that
intermittently.
is losing me. It's
Yes, every
unfortunate.
now and then
Is it any
your
better
audio
now?
goes slightly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying
I think I
what we
think
have
I think I think
implemented.
1 second, Professor. Professor, I think we're going to try to connect with you in another way because I'm getting a signal here. I think apparently
Okay.
that we're going to try to connect with you another way. Hold that thought for a second, Professor. Lasonia Harrison, while we try to
Okay.
reconnect with Professor Thompson, some of the fundamentals that can affect a child's performance, such as not having that enabling environment, which is outside of school. School is wonderful. Yes, you come to school and you do all the correct things. And that's Sonny Harrison. But once the children go back home or to their communities, as the case may be, they go back to an environment, a situation that is not conducive to the kind of great learning you're proposing. That's Sonny Harrison. How can some of those fundamentals be addressed?
Well, personally, I believe we need a national campaign as to the importance of education. You know, we need to look again at how it is what kind of what you call it, stipulations, I don't know, in terms of how we assign the path monies that are invested in heavily. So we ensure that the children come to school, that they are resourced, because the truth is, government needs to do more, But also, I recently went to Singapore and I asked them, do you provide, and their GDP is how much, thousands of dollars more than ours. And I said, do you provide the children with all the texts? They said, no. No, they don't. Parents must contribute, must come to the table and participate in their children's learning. The home is the first school. And so it is critical that parents, households understand that they need to support their children and help to work with the school to ensure the success of, and it can't be that we leave it to the realm of the school and to the teachers to carry out, to ensure that your child learns. It really doesn't work like that, because when you go home, you need that kind of support. You need that kind of reinforcement. Homework is to be done. There's a reason why it's called homework. It's not schoolwork. Schoolwork is done at school, but homework. And so parents need to, again, value education and value the input, make the sacrifices. If time would permit, I'd tell you many sacrifices my mother made in order to ensure that I got a textbook, ensure that I got to school, that I was always at school, except if I'm not well. And even days when I said I wasn't well, she would say, go on, you will feel better later. Yeah, but it is important for parents to value education. We hear the minister to speak about that she intends to look at it. I pray it will be a wholesome look at, and it will be one that the educators are front and center. The educators, the teachers sit at the table, and also the parents, because the parents are weighing in a particular way concerning the PEP in terms of, because they're seeing the stress on the children firsthand, at home. And so it is for us to look at it comprehensively. And I'm not sure we have done a thorough evaluation of the PEP as yet. And for us to then make that determination, do we away with this and do something else?
Well, Professor Thompson, I think we have you on a better line now. Would you like to just remind us or outline for us very briefly the proposed changes that you would like to see happen? We have heard yourself on some of the background matters, issues, as the case may be. And so we have also heard from Lasonia Harrison. What are some of the proposed changes you'd like?
Yes. So first is for there to be adequate funding for the national standard curriculum, so that the expected skills that children are to develop can be truly developed, and that the testing of that, let me use the word, the assessment of the acquisition of those skills would be done consistent with the vision of the national standards curriculum, which is not for there to be these mass tests, but as Mrs. Harrison said, that children would be doing ongoing work. I'm breaking up again.
Sorry. Ongoing work. Okay, if you could develop the point quickly because of time.
Ongoing work as we do in the SBA in the CXE, so that at the end of that period, you can see what competences they have developed and assign them to a particular area of learning, a particular school, consistent with their skills and interests. So it requires a revolutionizing of the education system by providing.
So you wouldn't have any sort of major testing at the end of the period?
No, it is not necessary to do that.
How would the determination be made in terms of which school you're placed
based on their overall performance over the period of school?
So would you be looking at that? Would you be still looking at to see who got the highest grades to send them to particular schools?
Abandon that.
You'd abandon that and replace it with what?
The child would be assessed relative to the child's growth plan. So I mentioned
so you won't have the so-called brighter students going to certain schools then, and then those who are not so supposedly not so bright going to other schools.
Absolutely not.
I see. So you would remove the sort of prestige attached to certain schools because of the so-called grades you're getting.
Correct. And the ranking of students.
Yes. So you won't have certain schools having first and second place anymore in terms of the CSEC passes, because you would have changed who got into those schools from grade 7.
Correct. So
Interesting. It might cause anxiety among some parents, I can tell you that. But
yeah,
I think you know the reason why, Professor Thompson.
Can I tell you?
And I think you know the reason why, Lasonia Harrison. But we don't have any time today to get into the sociological side of the discourse.
That's a
yeah.
cultural
That might
shift,
be
yes.
that would probably need another program. I want to thank Lasonia Harris and Professor Canute Thompson for being guests with us. Very interesting conversation in this Morning Watch. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Start your journey with a JN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by JN Small Business Loan is
7:31 a.m. And don't forget the Morning Watch is brought to you today by Bashko Trading Limited, the store that gives you more.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashko. Get it on a Bashko. Bashko. For everything where you need. Bashko. Quality service guaranteed and Bashko. Get it on a store that gives you more. Yeah, Bashko. Get furniture for your house, there's linen, everything for your kitchen, rugs, mugs, and more at Bashko. The store that gives you more. Bashko.
Don't let freshness ditch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move. Always a good move when you're moving with Grace.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marsh. Let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have here in the Gleaner, Vision in Focus. And this story by Sashana Small. As Dr. Andrew Holness is sworn in today for a third consecutive term as Prime Minister of Jamaica, he is expected to use his inaugural address to recommit to integrity and transparency in his government, and to outline tangible ways Jamaicans will benefit from the country's macroeconomic stability under his new administration. And we also have here in the Gleaner, 15% of witnesses missing in Royal Reid trial. Approximately 15% of the witnesses in the multi-million-dollar fraud case involving former Education Minister and Senator Royal Reid cannot be located, but the trial will commence in 3 weeks as scheduled, prosecutors have revealed, and that story continues. We now turn to the Observer. Bruce Golding urges serious probe into PNP's claim of election irregularities. Also, my apologies. Also in the Observer, warning to tax cheats. There is no beating the system, judge tells business owners. And this story by Alicia Dunkley Willis. Those and many other stories in our daily newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, as a parent or educator, what would be the best method of assessment of children moving on to the secondary school level? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-9973-125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Bashco. For everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and a Bashco. Get it on a store that gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, bed linen, everything for your kitchen, rugs, mugs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
Did you know that many girls still lack access to period products and that they can miss up to 1 year of school? But together, we can change that reality. The End Period Poverty campaign, sponsored by Always, is here. From August 1st to September 30th, for every pack of Always products you purchase, we donate a pad to girls in need. Go to your local supermarket and help our girls have access to period products.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
Save so you can make the part, travel far, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
I am a man, yes. Strong man. On the next episode of The Mailbox, we will be taking a further look on the topic, The Literate Man, Part 2. Literacy is important as it opens up social and economic opportunities, enabling individuals to improve their socio-economic status. It also empowers individuals to make informed decisions and participate fully in society. You are invited to join the conversation with our guest, Mr. Robert Dixon, Operation Restoration Christian School in Trenchtown, as he shares about the ways in which we can enhance the knowledge, social opportunities, and communication skills of our boys. That's Wednesday, September 17 at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station. Love 101, The Mailbox, Monday out.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man. Hey man.
What does peace look like in the middle of pressure? Where do you find rest when the world won't slow down? Tuesday, September 16 on The Rock, we dive into Psalm 4, a powerful blend of prayer, trust, and truth. Join guests Pastor Diane Hansen and Dr. Joel Freeman as they explore how this short psalm speaks to the depth of our daily struggles and the strength of God's grace, God's peace amid chaos, choosing faith over fleeting success, the call to self-control, trusting God's justice, and so much more. Plus, spotlight on scripture. Daniel Dodd picks a single verse, just one, and challenges us to unpack its meaning in just a few minutes. What will he choose this week? All this and more on The Rock, Tuesday, September 16 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Friends in the social media land space have to say about our feedback question as a parent or educator. What would be the best method of assessment of children moving on to the secondary school level, Jacal?
All right, no problem. So we have a response from Cherry in Spanish Town. For students entering high school, they need to be able to read and comprehend at the required level, also in English and mathematics. But first and foremost, assessment should begin from grade 1 in the primary level, or better yet, basic school. Assessment is very important.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We move right into the second watch. It's being called switching gears, by the way. Switching gears from human beings to animals. It's being called a national disgrace, a disgrace that requires a $200 million lifeline that would go towards a relocation of over 500 animals. And the services of the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, JSPCA. But from where or whom will these funds come? Who will provide the money? That's a lot of money for some unwanted animals. Arguably, are they unwanted? Well, that's another discussion. We're going to be having a conversation today with the managing director of the GSPCA. Her name is Pamela Lawson. We hope to be joined by another guest as well. Pamela Lawson, good morning. Are you all with us?
Good morning.
Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, tell us, first of all, remind us, for those who don't know, or, for those who might not remember, remind us. For those who don't know, tell us, what is the JSPCA and why was it formed, its relevance, etc.?
Okay, so the JSPCA is 123 years old and it deals with animal welfare, animal protection, and we also treat and care for these animals. If we don't do it, does Jamaica really want to go back to the days where there were animals all over the place, on the streets, etc.? We give a safe haven. People can turn in their animals if they're unable to care for them, as well as if their animals are ill and they don't always have all the finances. We do a much lower cost veterinary clinic.
So your current location or was at the corner of, is it Hope Road and Winchester Road in St. Andrew?
That is correct. At 10 Winchester Road.
Are you still there or have you now left that location?
Oh, we're still there.
Okay, but you're there until when? Supposedly.
That's a good question. We're trying to set up even a temporary facility.
Okay.
Until we can build what we really need.
If you can say, up to when are you supposed to be there in terms of, when are you supposed to be leaving, quote unquote?
January 2025.
25.
We should have left already.
Oh, you should have left already. Oh, so you're on borrowed time. I understand, you're on borrowed time. So
very much borrowed.
Okay. So you're hoping to relocate shortly to where exactly?
193 Old Hope Road, which is near the Veterinary Services Division between the Ministry of Agriculture.
Which is somewhere on the way going up to Papine, sort of?
It would be. It is near the Hope Pastures turnoff.
Okay. All right. Now, the facilities that you'll be moving to, I guess you would have already examined it. What is that? What are those facilities like? When you compare it to where you are now, what would you need to build out at the new facility to make it more, comfortable for what you need to do? I'm using the word comfortable.
Okay. Well, right now, as we would say in Jamaica, it's bush. There's nothing on it. It's just land.
It's just land. No structures yet.
No.
And you need what exactly to make it relevant to what you're doing?
Well, we're embarking on clearing the land and fencing it, leveling it off.
Okay.
Try and address some of the issues it has, which is a bit flood prone. And it has some old ponds on it.
Oh. So if it's flood prone, how might you be planning to address that? Because you can't have the animals,
No, we can't.
Endangered in that sort of way.
Or clients being in water. So we have to elevate.
You're calling the customers, you're calling the animals the customers or the clients?
Of course, they are our customers.
Yes, that's another conversation. I won't go there today. But hold the thought for a second, Pamela Lawson, because never enough time in the morning watch. We are already upon the break. Listeners, please stay with us. Very interesting discussion with Pamela Lawson of the GSPCA. We'll be right back on the morning watch.
The time by Grace Could Move is
7:45.
Music
semester, your time to win. Pick up True products and you're in. True Ship, True Milk, and True Juice. True Almond and True Mold too. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Purchase any 6 True products between August 28 and October 13 for a chance to be one of 3 grand prize winners of $200,000 or 7 weekly winners of $15,000 in supermarket or book vouchers. Visit Tradewinds Citrus on IG for details.
New semester, your time to win. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Conditions apply.
Authorized by the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and the topic is the future, fate, or necessity of a JSPCA, the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Our guests are, Pamela Lawson had already joined us from the first half of the second watch. Pamela Lawson is the Managing Director of the JSPCA. We're now joined by Dr. Blossom Amelie Nelson. She's the chair of the Animal Welfare Advocacy Group. And we want to welcome Dr. Amelie Nelson now to the platform. Good morning, Dr. Amelie Nelson.
And good morning to your listeners. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Miss Blossom.
Good to hear you. Uh-huh.
Great. Now, Pamela Lawson, just before the break, we were sort of having a discussion about, where you are now, where you're moving to, all the things you need to do to make it habitable for the animals who you described as customers and clients. And quickly, is there anything else that you need to do within a particular time frame so that when you really need to relocate from your current location, you can do so without worrying too much about where you're going to?
The main thing we have to put in place, we need shelter for the animals as well as for the staff. We have 45 members of staff. We have to be able to function as a veterinary clinic because that funds the work that we do.
Yes.
I mean, when we go out for dangerous dogs or we go to the hospitals and clear animals, it costs us money.
Yeah. Understood.
So we need to get that in place.
So how do you normally get funding, by the way, if you would care to say?
We earn it. We work for it.
Okay. So when you give us a classic scenario of earning money for caring for the animals.
Well, like I said, we run a low-cost veterinary clinic, but we deal with volume. So we will see maybe 50 people, and other clinics may only see 10.
You're calling the animals people?
People bring in their animals. So when
I'm
a
just
person
joking.
comes in with 3-4 dogs, they're customers as well.
Okay. All right. So understood. Now I want to quickly raise this with you. Some persons listening might say, there's a lot of care and concern for these animals. And by the way, you deal with dogs and cats as well?
We deal with livestock, dogs, cat, domestic pets. We deal with every animal.
Every animal, exactly. So some persons might be saying to themselves, this program, these persons are so concerned about animals, but yet they have all these persons on the road homeless. Where is the priority? What is our animals a real priority? How do you respond to those
It is a real priority because you're dealing with what affects animals affects people. Let's be honest.
Explain.
We all have something called One Health. And that is the only way we can put One Health.
Okay, explain
because
that.
The only way we can protect people from zoonosis, which is transmissible conditions between animal and man or vice versa, is to tackle the huge stray problem we have in Jamaica.
Okay. So you're saying that under the concept of One Health, you're tackling the transmission of illnesses from animals to humans?
And vice versa.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Well, we are now going to be hearing from Dr. Blossom Amelie Nelson. Good morning, madam. Happy to have you.
Good morning. It's the first time speaking with you.
I think so.
Thank you for your invitation. I want to make sure we have the broader context because we need to have an understanding of the same one world, one health that Pam is talking about, because societies progress, the world's progress. Sometimes we wonder if we're in regression now. But the new thinking is that we are recognizing the interrelatedness of the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, the physical kingdom. You can't separate them. So tell me tell me all the time, you have bad man on the street and you talk about dog. But it is not an option not to look after both of them. It just happens that in this conversation, we are talking about the animals. But there should be an equally vigorous conversation about the homeless people. So it's not that you love dog and you don't like people. That is old thinking. That does not make any sense at all. You cannot have a civil society, a civilized country where you want to invite tourists. You want to, the tourist industries where we make our daily bread. People come here and see the dogs on the street and car lick down the cars and truck run into this and that. Roadkill here, roadkill there. They don't like it. They complain about it because we are moving towards a more civil society and a civil world. And Jamaica needs to take its responsibility. The JSPCA is the primary organization that takes care of the animals in this country. And it is important that they be funded, that they be housed, and that we understand the importance. Let me tell you something, Stokeley. If you have a little son, I don't know what age you are, and your little son is cruel to the cat and he murder the puss, and him string up a lizard, you're looking at somebody who has some serious psychological problems that are going to be translated into his attitude towards other people, towards the neighbor. You understand what I'm saying, I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question. If I kill a cockroach, what does that say about my mental state?
Well, some people don't even kill cockroaches. You know what I mean?
I do.
So any life is life, and we need to have a reverence for life. And, I hear coming from you that sort of, I won't say it anyway. You invited me on a program, so let me shut up.
I'm listening intently, Dr. Amelia Nelson.
I hear a sort of cynicism coming from you, which is very well reflected in public sentiment.
Yeah.
And this is why, for example, we set up AWAG, the Animal Welfare Advocacy.
I was going to go on to ask you if you could tell us a little bit about that, because briefly, please.
We are an umbrella organization that is committed to public education, to advocacy, to bring into the attention of the public, to include the government, other agencies, corporations, that we need to do better as a country, and we need to put ourselves back into the drag ourselves into the modern world where our people have a thinking which reverse life, and that goes to the murder rates and the violence in the country.
And you would tell me to not kill the cockroaches anymore.
I didn't say that.
She never said that.
I know you didn't. I'm just pushing the envelope, Dr. Amelia Nelson.
Oh, I leave that your own personal belief system. Cockroaches.
Okay,
right?
okay.
I hope I don't torture any.
No, Dr. Amelia Nelson. I'm not. You're fine.
Because there's I need to make the point. There's a humane way of doing things.
Yes.
We put down animals, but we do it humanely, right? So we need a consciousness in this country. And I tell you something.
And Dr. Amelia Nelson, for the record, let me put this on the table. I grew up around dogs, so I'm accustomed to having dogs. Yeah. So I am very much a lover of animals, but I guess
I'm glad.
Yes, but it's just that some of the questions that I'm asking them because of I just want to understand from the JSPCA's point of view the sort of primacy that sometimes you get the sense that there's a certain primacy being given to the care for animals, whilst at the same time humans are suffering. But continue, Dr. Amelia Nelson.
No, but we have to give primacy to the care for animals, but in our other lives, we all helping people on the street and sending picnic to school and picking up and off the corn, and I don't know what to do with them. At least if I pick up a dog.
And I wanted to know how you felt if I kill another cockroach, if I'm cruel.
If I pick up a dog, I know where to carry it. But see a man, I don't know what to do. I have to call the police, and the police say can't touch him because it's human rights, this and that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So sometimes it's not easy to help the people. But it's not either or. We have to do both as a country. We have to do both as a country. And we have so much backward thinking in this country about a lot of things. We need to educate ourselves and move ourselves forward as a people. Right?
Understood. And Pamela Lawson, JSPCA, if you could assist us. It's a society, so it's a non-profit?
Right. It is a non-profit. It is a charity.
It's a charity.
And what Miss Blossom is saying, it's been scientifically proven that people who are not compassionate, even with animals, cannot be compassionate with humans. It all is a landslide.
It shows a callousness, a coldness in the human being who is cruel to an animal. Understood. Now, in terms of going forward, because, never enough time on the morning watch, but Pamela Lawson, you should have moved your location from January of this year. You're still in your current location. You're clearing land now at the location you're to go to. But
correct.
Where are you seeing the light going forward? Because clearly there's a lot more you need to do in terms of where you need to go to, and you need a $200 million lifeline.
We do, but you know what? I consider this a challenge, and I think that my team and I were up to the challenge on my board. We're going to make this work.
Okay.
Somebody's giving us sour apples to work with. We're going to make an apple pie.
Yes. And the premises that you were at, that you are still at, it's not owned by the society.
It is. It was owned by the government, and it is sold within the government.
Oh. Understood. And the premises you're going to go to, will it be owned by the society?
It is being leased for the next 49 years.
Okay. So you have quite a decent period of time to sort of get yourself established there, etc. Any plans to hopefully own your own facilities so that you don't go through this again?
Well,
hopefully.
I don't think I'm going to be around.
We don't know that.
I am going to try.
Maybe
to make sure that our legacy and what we develop is going to be JSPCA's forever home.
Yes. Understood. Any final thoughts you want to share with us, Pamela Lawson? Then Dr. Amelia Nelson, I think I'm getting a signal.
Yes, I'm not asking for people to disregard the humans by any stretch of the imagination. We help them every day, but. Yeah. Like I said, as Doc said, we have to become a more compassionate society.
Yes, and we probably need to drill down somewhere into the One Health concept that you introduced to many of our listeners this morning. Dr. Amelia Nelson, any final thoughts you want to share with us?
I would just like to commend Pam on the excellent work she's doing. She's a real fighter. I'm sure she can share with you GoFundMe, or you can look it up.
Yes.
Online. I would like to say that we need everybody now to pay attention to the concept One World, One Health. We have to make the JSPCA be prosperous. Every developed country has an association for prevention of animals, several. And we can't have one and don't.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Amelia Nelson, but I'm getting another signal. But One World, One Health, is this a United Nations related entity or description?
It is UN. It is UN.
It is the United Nations. I kind of got that sense. Unfortunately, ladies, we have to end the program now. But I want to thank both you, Dr. Amelia Nelson and Mrs. Lawson, for being with us this morning. Thank you for your time and for your thoughts. I'm so sorry that we have to end the conversation almost abruptly, but I want to thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues. And of course, visit the Love 1FM YouTube channel and Facebook page, and now TikTok at Love 1FM Jamaica for this and all other Love One FM programs. And of course, download our Love 101 app and stay connected to us, the family station. Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gale and to our guests. Join me tomorrow, as I look at other issues of the day. I am Stokeley, Marsh, and hand you back to Love in the Morning with Chukal.
The Morning Watch was brought to you today by Bashco Trading Limited, the store that gives you more. Time is now 8 a.m. and you are now invited to listen